And we are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and we have to talk, man. Some strange things have gone on in the sport of boxing today that we must discuss. Gentlemen's game, Counterpunch to you. Thank God for you live. I do graveyard shifts, keep me entertained for the night. We intend to do so. I'm out of town right now, so I hope the stream doesn't get interrupted due to the Wi-Fi connection because I'm not at the crib. We got 6 people on the chat, and we have to discuss what's going on with the WBC. Of course, the WBC has started their franchise crowning of fighters, and it seems like it's more than trinkets or a trophy. It's more than the Super Six. It's more than that, because they have to have certain criteria, which we will talk about and discuss in detail. Suli, man, counterpunch to you. Oh man, everything's good, man. Everything's good, except the WBC. And I have to explain in detail what's going on with the WBC. Now Lomachenko, of course, is a highly decorated amateur fighter. He's done many things in the sport of boxing in a short amount of time, and that's very impressive when it does come to certain fighters. You know, I think the risk versus the reward, and I think based on what Lomachenko has done in the sport, if I'm Lomachenko, I don't think that merits what that he's accepted. And when I mean accepted, I mean this WBC franchise belt. Okay. Franchise belts, man, it's like you have a certain amount of criteria. You have someone basically giving you a title. It would be different if after he unified, he could fight for it. That would have made more sense to me. I wouldn't have had a problem with it because the WBC, they make belts all the time. They got the Mayan belt, they have the diamond belt, now they have the franchise belt. Ian, WC makes me just shake my head. Are they trying to ruin the sport I love? Well, I think they're trying to sabotage it by controlling certain aspects of it. That's what they're trying to do. And I feel Lomachenko's not any exception. The problem is, now here's the problem. Lomachenko's supposed to have a tough year next year, a very challenging year, because you got all these guys that want to fight him. Of course, Lopez and Comey, the winner out of that has to be the mandatory for his belt. But now he drops that belt, okay? And now he's the franchise champion. So that means he's free to move around. He's like that if you played checkers, right? He's like a double crown king, and he can move where he wants to go. Unfortunately, we don't need that in boxing, especially if he can't defend that, So he basically has this freedom to do whatever he really wants to do with this title that no one can obtain but him. Based on what? You know what I mean? Did he beat someone? Did he fight someone? What happened? How the hell did he get this? That goes to Canelo. That goes to anybody else that accepts this WBC franchise belt. It started with Canelo, because Canelo is the highest paid boxer. I get that to a certain degree because Canelo's been in there with damn near everybody. You know what I mean? So when that happened, based on who was wanting and not even really wanting, because Jamal Charlo really didn't call out Canelo. He was just so happy to get a damn title. So he was cool with that. Devin Haney, on the other hand, is not. He's more like Golovkin was to Canelo when Canelo dropped that belt, or they were going to strip him of that belt, and then Golovkin took that belt, if that makes sense. So Nate Diaz is on testosterone. I'm not surprised. Oh, of course. All those cats, the UFC, man, they really cracked down on them. I don't see why they still do this shit. I guess if If 10 of them can get away with it and then one of them can get caught with the shit, why not? You know, that's how I look at it. I think it's more like drugs coming into countries, you know. Uh, Davey I, salute, counterpunch to you, brother. Lake Ton Evelyn, how can Loma be undisputed? Because whoever he fights for IBF can't become undisputed because there is no WBC belt. Well, I mean, I guess that it's weird. And Loma himself says that he's still the WBC champion. Now, that's the weird thing about this situation. How the hell are you the WBC champion and then Devin Haney is the interim champion? It's weird. Okay. Now I'm reading here. Devin Haney is the WBC World Lightweight Champion. Okay. So you got newly crowned Devin Haney, the WBC champion, like Charlo was at 160. But then you got Loma, I'm the franchise champion at the same weight. See, this is the problem, what's wrong with boxing and the WBC and all the bullshit. That's why it should be a national boxing league. It should have been that way 20 years ago, because by now all the bullshit would have been eradicated. Unfortunately, we still have this bullshit. And WBC, they're showing their ass and they're showing how their credibility is plummeting, okay, for the rest of the sanctioning bodies. Look at the IBF, look at the WBA, look at the WBO, okay? These guys, think about it. If everybody decides, hey, you know what, I'm going to make this guy a franchise champion, that means that guy has to never fight anyone worth a shit. And even if he does, he can never lose that title, right? It's crazy. It is crazy as shit. So you know, and then here's my thing. If Devin Haney is the new crowned WBC champion, what's going to stop people from saying Loma ran? You know, you can't argue with him at that point. You know, based on what we see, you know, it looks like Loma packed his shit up and said, you know what, I'm taking this shit and I'm not fighting any of these guys. Where in fact, he needs those guys to stay where he's at if people claim he's number one. And really, honestly, now, based on that, I think he should be dropped at least 2 places in the pound for pound. You know what I mean? Now, if he still continues his quest to be the best with that little trinket or with that little side trophy belt, cool. If he still fights Devin Haney, cool, because that's what Devin Haney wants. Devin Haney looking at that like Floyd was looking at Gennaro Hernandez back in the day when he won his first title. You know, around that same age, I think Floyd was 19. I think Devin Haney's 20 right now. You know, and he's a hungry, quick, fast fighter like Floyd. He's trained by the Mayweathers. So if Visili Lomachenko, in essence, if he wanted, because we heard him say, I would love to fight Floyd Mayweather in his prime. That would have been a great fight. However, I don't want to fight you. Quit hiding your fighter. And he was talking about Tank Davis, right? Well, why don't you fight the guy that has been compared to a young Floyd, which is Devin Haney? If you can beat Devin Haney, you're really accomplishing something, you know? Shit, Luke Campbell. You know, and if I'm Devin Haney, I would take out the guys that Lomachenko had problems with. You know what I mean? Do what Pacquiao did. The WBC is changing the game in all the wrong ways. This ain't right. No, it's not. Gentleman's game. Nah, this is not right. Q-Tip, salute to the chat. Q-Tip, salute to you, brother. Can you become undisputed with a franchise belt? I don't think you can. Legitimately, you can't. Think about it. If no one can take your title because there's a new title that has been created, then who can ever be undisputed? Except, well, maybe the franchise guy can, because he's got a belt that no one can get, right? Okay. If he's still interested in fighting for those belts, he would be the only one that can be undisputed by default, right? Now, let's say Haney beats Lomachenko, he becomes the diamond belt holder. He can't be the franchise belt holder. But you got to ask yourself, what really is the franchise belt actually considered a legitimate belt at this point because you can't defend it, right? It can't be taken away from you. Now I can understand as Loma was retired. The only way this franchise built, I feel they should implement that is something like they did to Adonis Stevenson. And that was great. I think they supposed to, give him some, you know what I mean? Because the dude had to fight for his life, for Christ's sake. So yeah, those type of things. Retired fighters. You know what I mean? They should get franchise belts since they don't have to defend it because they're not fighting anymore. I think that's the best thing. But this shit ain't right. But no, I think the only way that you can become undisputed is you are that franchise guy that was picked by the WBC. But why and what merits them to pick you? And what merits them, most importantly, to pick Loma? It's crazy. Shit, why don't they do that to Terrence Crawford? You know what I mean? Shit, he's cleaned out 2 divisions. Give him the franchise champion, right? I don't know. Okay, the only way this franchise belt thing works is if the fighters still fight the best, thus maintaining the integrity of the sport. But I doubt it, though. You know what, Ian? You're absolutely right. I agree with that. They see that belt, it should hold. Okay, if you can't lose it and you get your ass beat, okay? The person that beats you is probably considered the quote unquote franchise champion because now he gets or receives a diamond belt for beating the franchise champion. Therefore, he is actually the dude in that division. That would make more sense because the franchise or not, that franchise champion's credibility will be broken in two. That would be the only way that this franchise belt will mean any damn thing. If it's not, it won't be worth a shit if these guys don't fight anyone. They don't fight anyone. Who cares about a franchise champion after that? You right? It's crazy. You damn right, Norman. I'm counterpunching this shit. GM Strong. We have to see what happens in the future. We do. We do have to see what happens, how this pans out. Will this make Loma hungrier or will that make him lazier? You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is if the franchise champion loses, he don't lose his belt. So if you got the IBF belt and beat Loma, you're still not undisputed because you won't have the WBC. Crazy. Yeah, well, it is. But like I explained, you'll get a belt. You'll get the diamond belt. Are you dropping Canelo too? Are we questioning Canelo's level of opposition too? James Burrell, no. I guess you just came on the chat or whatnot, but that was 4 minutes ago. But I just counterpunched. Like Canelo would be. I remember Bob Arum. Okay, James, let me counterpunch this. Bob Arum said, "Well, I can see why Canelo's the franchise champion. Why? He's the highest paid boxer in the sport. Okay, he fills the seats." He has the sponsorships. He has the power. He has the country behind him. He has the fucking resume. Okay. That would be one of the things I can understand. No one said about dropping anyone. So no, not dropping anyone. But compared to Canelo, I could see how that is what the WBC decided to do with Canelo. Right. So no, I'm not dropping anyone. I mean, you can't, that's overshooting yourself. That's premature. Oh, fuck Loma. Oh, fuck that. No, you can't say that because we don't know what Loma's going to do. As far as I'm concerned, Loma is that guy that wanted to prove that he's the best. I just fear that shit like this will either prohibit him from wanting those fights or taking those fights due to his position that they gave him. Okay? That's what I am saying. Kirk laying down the boxing knowledge, trying to, Norman. Loma didn't rule out a Haney fight in the future after this unification bout with the other champions. How can you call it unification if your opponent can't obtain the one item that you have? GM Strong is fucked up. It's bullshit. And they know that, But get this. The silver lining of that is if Devin Haney beats Loma. It doesn't matter, and neither does that fucking belt. Let's look at it like that. That belt doesn't matter if Haney goes in there and sparks out Loma. If he beats Loma, and he's just a younger, fresher, bigger fighter, it won't matter. And then you know what? The WBC, then what they'll do, they'll be like, oh. They'll back up. They'll start backstepping and think, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't give these type of fighters this trophy or this belt no more when they really ain't earned it. So we'll be careful about applying this or awarding this to a fighter that hasn't earned it. So it will break their shit. It will break that shitty will. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. I think that'll happen. So if he is going to fight, that's good, because if he gets beat, we'll see what the WBC will resort to. You know what I'm saying? Will Wilder knock out Ortiz early, or will it go 12 rounds? You know what? I think it's going to be an early knockout. I hope it's for Ortiz. I hope. You know, Wilder's looking good, though. He's working on body work, but I don't think you can teach a guy like that new things this far down the line. You know, he'll try to implement that quick, implement the body shots, the jab to the body with a southpaw or whatnot, you know. But that really, if you think about it, the jab to the body from Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder's fast. He's a pretty quick heavyweight due to his build and size and whatnot. But that jab to the body coming from a guy that likes to counterpunch like Ortiz, he could get caught with the same fucking right hook that put his ass against the ropes where he got battered, right? For fucking 15 seconds, right? That right hook hurt Wilder. So that jab shit to the body coming from a southpaw, that may happen to him. But hey, if they will protect him once, they'll protect him again, right? But who knows? Loma said he wants Tank and Haney in 2020, franchise or not, and this idiot is accusing him of fighting bums all of a sudden. James Burrell, how the fuck am I accusing Loma from fighting bums? When did I say he's fighting bums? You know, I don't get what you're saying. When the fuck did I ever say that? You know, you come here, you're talking shit and putting words in my mouth. When did I say Loma is fighting bums? When did I accuse him of fighting bums? It's a fear of him being lazy, but when have I done that? Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I think Chisora will knock out Price. He may, if he gets on the inside. If he gets on the inside, gentleman's game, I think he can apply that punching power where it's needed to be. But if he can't, and he lets fucking he lets Price box him from the outside and put together those uppercuts, yeah, he could be seriously hurt himself. Punch quote formerly Triple H 1200. And taking fight is another thing. Canelo wants to fight Andre, but he let the belts go instead of fighting for undisputed. What part did you miss? I think James is just one to be, I don't know. I think he needs to go somewhere else. I'm down with a good debate, but not shit you saying it. You said I said it, I didn't say. Leighton Evelyn, do you really think he will fight Tank and Haney in 2020? I don't think so, man. I'm not sure. Again, we have to see, right? So it's one of those things like James Burrell thinking that I'm saying that, oh, he ain't going to fight him now that he has. No, we have to see. We have to see what he does, you know? You give Haney for saying he wants the fight, but not the guy that has won more titles in 14 fights than any other in history. Why? Because Haney is an undefeated fighter. Loma really has no one else to fight. He beat Luke Campbell. That was a good win. A lot of people thought that Loma was exposed. You think I'm a Loma hater or something, huh? And I'm sure you're a Lomachenko fan, and you're getting butthurt for what I say because I don't pull punches on any fighter. So if that's what you're thinking, and you feel that I'm biased, get the fuck out of here. Just do that. Chop it up. Oh, Kurt DeVille's a biased guy against Loma, and call it a nice fucking day. How about that? You've been warned. Blues Boxing, WBC is destroying Undisputed. They're trying. They're trying to do that with control. You know what I mean? They're really trying to control the sport with certain fighters. Yeah, who did Loma beat? Who will be in the Hall of Fame? Broner won 4 belts in 4 divisions. Tell him. You know, shit. CP Squad, get on his ass because he's just talking shit. He's talking out of his ass because he thinks I'm bashing a fighter that he's a fan out of. You know, he's 14 fights. He's done more. Yeah, okay, well, fuck. He didn't get the Mikey Garcia fight. He hasn't yet fought Lopez, which Lopez vows to knock him the fuck out. He's the loudmouth. Couldn't fight Tank. You know what I mean? Yeah, they protected Tank for a while, yada, 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 until they thought he was, vulnerable enough to fight him. You know? Tank is a PBC fighter, so that fight will be hard to make. And Haney is a DAZN, so hard to make. They can come to agreement. You know? We're just pretending none of his wins exist now. No, we're not. We're not pretending that none of his wins exist. We're just saying it's all about what you've done lately in the sport. Okay. You know, Luke Campbell again was a good win, but it was a tough fight. You know, so then people are coming out of the woodwork. Hey, you know what? I want to fight this guy. Look at Golovkin and Canelo. When Canelo fought Golovkin, he really looked like he can be beaten. Before that, nobody wanted to fuck with Golovkin. Nobody. Billy Joe Saunders said to Chris Eubank, which are or were middleweight fighters, right? Oh, Golovkin will beat you and me at the same time, mate. Remember he said that? Now he's like, you know what? I can get Golovkin. Why? Because they played the waiting game. Golovkin's getting older. He's not looking the same type of fighter. He's been beaten. He's been decisioned. We see him. He's getting hurt. So yeah, it's looking more and more visible and realistic for him to be beaten. Loma is a tough fighter. But Linares, that fight, he got dropped in the seat of his ass. He's exposed. Now, the true Loma haters were the ones that said that. Oh, he's got exposed. Didn't get exposed. He just got caught with a good shot. This is fucking boxing, man. This is boxing. You get punched, you go down. You get punched with a punch you don't see. You go down and you get knocked the fuck out. It's not a game. It's the sport that I love that I hate so much for a reason. Okay? That's how it works. But if Loma beats Haney, then it doesn't count because he is a franchise, huh? No, it does count, motherfucker. What it means is Loma can be the only one that has an undisputed or can be an undisputed fighter because he can beat all the other fighters because the fighter that if a fighter beats him, they can't get what he has. But if he fights them and beats them all, he can get all those belts that they have. I don't know where the fuck you're coming from. And it's like you're not hearing. You just want to pop shit. You know, it's just stupid. Kurt, don't forget Ortiz took some of Wilder's big punches, at least 3 of those heavy punches, and kept coming. You know what he did? You're all right. In the early punches, he did hit. He got caught with punches on the forehead. He got punches with some punches on the temple, and he still took those punches. But if you think about it, though, real talk, if you think about it, Wilder swings wild, and those punches that he landed, that's why he's breaking his hands and shit, because I always believe Wilder cannot, and a lot of times he swings with them wild ass punches. He's not delivering the punches correctly. Okay. So those type of punches that did hit Ortiz, if you go back and watch that, he did get hit with some of those punches in Ortiz came. You're right about that. But then most of the ones that he got hit with upstairs, there were grazing punches on top of the head where it's the most hardest. You know what I mean? Fucking Deontay Wilder probably hurt his hand swinging like that, hitting the motherfucker with this part of his fist and shit, with that part of the glove. That's not generating any power. It doesn't generate until you turn it over, unless you're a schoolgirl sissy or something and just practice punching like that. You know what I mean? So, but, Ortiz did, Ortiz is not a punk. He got caught with those punches, and those punches clearly hurt him, So, hopefully, I wish Ortiz would win that fight. Yeah, I'm an Ortiz fan. I don't give a shit how old he is. I don't care. I wish he was more free to fight other fighters to see how a better barometer for him to see what he would do against other fighters. That's my only thing, But we have to thank fucking Al Heyman and the PBC and all that, all that sabotage bullshit for that, Franchise is designed for him not to fight Haney. What part of that did you miss? We have to see, because as far as Canelo goes, Canelo does what he wants to anyway. I don't think him getting the franchise belt really mattered if you think about it, right? So Canelo was doing that shit anyway, right? Before he got the franchise belt, did he fight Golovkin like they wanted him to? No. He said, fuck that belt, right? And then Golovkin got that belt, right? That was before any of this franchise shit showed up. But ask yourself this. Besides people on the other side of the street, like the LDBC and all those guys, the PBC lovers, those guys, the Al Heyman worshipers, those particular guys over there. Besides them, who else was really complaining about Canelo fighting Charlo? No, it wasn't a big demand fight. People were more in an uproar over Andrade because Andrade is on the same platform and that fight is more possible and easier to make. He fought Danny Jacobs, but not Andre. So people did start to question it, like, okay, well, why is he, avoiding that fight? You got two promoters that worked with each other a hell of a lot, right? Canelo fought at 168. He fought a Matchroom guy on the zone, right? And Rocky, okay? But then he fought Jacobs, which Jacobs is a special situation because Jacobs is also he's Al Heyman. He's promoted by Eddie Hearn, and he's a DAZN fighter, and he fought him too. So Andrade is also a DAZN fighter. So I don't know why that fight couldn't be made. So there was no excuse for that fight not being made. But with Charlo, and even Charlo didn't dispute it. So we can't get mad over a fighter that didn't even dispute what he could have had or what he wanted. Devin Haney is. Charlo was just happy to get a fucking belt without fighting for it. Okay? He should have complained like, yeah. Now, the LDBC, those guys complained for him, but like, why are y'all doing that for him? And he's not doing that. Okay? So that's what I'm saying about the franchise. The franchise belt doesn't necessarily mean you're going to duck. I think if you have that mentality to duck or do whatever you want to do, you're going to do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel, honestly. So if Loma ain't the ducking kind, we're going to see these fights, hopefully. But we got to wait and see. If he ducks them, boom, that's right. That shit that made him, okay, I got the franchise champion, fuck everybody, fuck this, and that'll be that. But then what'll happen in time, Loma will lose credibility. Except if you're James Burrell. You know what I mean? So, but we will know the truth after that. So if Wilder becomes franchise, they will give Ortiz the regular champion status so they can screw over White again. Fuck, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen because here's the thing. What has Loma done? At least Loma has unified something. Wilder hasn't done that, right? But then again, all things are possible when you're dealing with the WBC and the bullshit. You know what I mean? So I hope that's not the case, though. But they will try to do that, and then Ortiz will never fight anyone worth a shit. He'll probably fight Kalnaki, then Dominic Brazil, you know what I mean? Then he'll get older and older. Then one of those guys will probably end up beating him because he's over the hill and, all that shit. So, Poor White. That's a bad how the WBC has treated him. Yeah, they fucked him too. WBC, man, they've done a lot of fuckery lately. Based on some rumored shit, mind you. They don't even know what UCAT has came up with or anything. They're just like, you know what? Fuck them. Fuck Dillian White. We're pushing that shit back. We don't care what happens. You guys don't even care if the dude was innocent or guilty. You just fucking push it back. But again, The WBC makes their own rules. Let me give you a prime example. Look at what they did with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Remember that? That fight, they mandated Tyson Fury to fight Deontay Wilder. These guys were in negotiations and they pushed it a week. That time frame came, then they pushed it another week. When that time frame came, they pushed it indefinitely, right? And then all of a sudden, I think Fury did the right thing. Fuck you and the WBC. I'm going to ESPN and I'm signing this big deal. If Deontay Wilder wants to fight me, he's got to bring his ass over here. We'll make him an offer. Because I got a big fucking offer, bigger than this fight can ever be. I can tell you that. You know? So that's what Tyson Fury did. He did it for his career. Instead of fucking around the WBC, the belt only Deontay Wilder owns at this point. You know? So that shows you that they broke their own rules. If it's a deadline, obey the deadline. Deadline or else what? We'll move it again. So they're showing you how chicken shit they are. They're showing you that they can bend the rules. They bend their own fucking rules. So what does rules matter to the WBC? That's what they're telling everybody. You know, they're fucking with the integrity of their sanctioning bodies. They're doing it. That's what they are being known for. So people just need to wake up. People need to wake up and see WBC is full of shit. That, along with the title itself. Fuck them. Fuck them and feed them grits. That's it. You know? So it is what it is. Chris Serrano, kind of punch to you, brother. Bacon and eggs. Trying to nail it, brother. Trying to nail it. Tafida Godzama. Morning to you. WBC boycott 2020 is trending in the UK. WBC is killing boxing with this franchise nonsense. Absolutely. You know, and I'm for it. Fuck them. Fuck the WBC, man. You know, and that's not because Wilder got the belt. It's just because what they are allowing these fighters to do. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit who had the belt. It's basically the belt and the sanctioning body somebody should be held accountable for the shit that they do. And they're not. That's the problem. They're not being held accountable. You know? So it's just bullshit. ABS number 1. What's good, brother? Counterpunch Squad. Absolutely. Welcome. High-ranked Counterpunch. At this point, the IBF is the most credible. Absolutely. IBF they don't play. They don't look. They have no nonsense. Oh, you didn't do this. So they're like the fucking federal government. You know, they're sticklers out of this world. Oh, you know what? You didn't do this. And then I think next after that is the WBA, then the WBO. You know, Dandada, good morning to you, brother. Yes, White is not getting his due. Leighton Garcia is the WBC Diamond champ, and he gets a mandatory crack at Spence. I thought that belt was supposed to be not an automatic shot at the main title. It doesn't. See, that's what I'm talking about. GM Strong, that's exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. These guys have made rules, broke rules, made more rules, broke those fucking rules. Like, why do you guys have rules? You shouldn't even have rules. Hey, our rule, this is the WBC rule. Our rules are we can make and break the fucking rules when we want to. That's the WBC. Fuck it. That's all you're saying. You know what? Yeah, we did. But remember, we made them, so we're going to break them. That's what they do. And that's all they've done. And this year is a clear example of that. You've seen so many examples of this bullshit that happened from January to October. We've seen some of the worst bullshit organization calls ever in the history of boxing. It's fucking crazy. Crazy. Golden Boy Promotions Thursday night fights are on the zone now, no longer on Facebook. Yeah, LA 12. I knew that was going to happen, because, Facebook is a free website, and so they're like, hey, no, you're going to pay for that shit. So, that's just marketing. Did you hear Oscar Rivas says he's fighting on Ruiz Joshua card? You know what? I've heard something. It hasn't really been confirmed to my knowledge. That would be lit, because Michael Hunter and who else is on that? Michael Hunter and Povetkin is on that undercard. So if they have that card on there, Oscar Rivas is fighting on that, also on that card. And he gave Dillian White a tough fight, dropping Dillian White in that fight. And they should have told him about that. So, I think he should at least deserve to be in the spotlight. Then you can showcase 6 different heavyweight fighters on that card. That card should be lit. That reminds me of you remember Floyd and Canelo? Remember that undercard? That shit was lit. You had like Danny Garcia versus Matisse on that card. You had a lot of fights on that card. So, that really brings more more interest to the card if the card's lit. The undercard, if the undercard's lit, that brings much more the flair to that particular fight. Yeah, they're corrupt. Spence and Brook was a unification with Matchroom and PBC. Wilder dropped Ortiz early with a jab, moving backwards, and it was ruled a slip. You're talking about he don't know how to deliver a punch. I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. Because I don't. But you have to remember something. If Ortiz fell, Ortiz being a southpaw, maybe when I don't know. Just tell me what round. I gotta look back at that. You gotta counterpunch that shit because I don't remember that happening. Loma fight Haney or White fight Tay. Okay. Due to the WBC unfair ruling against White, I'm pulling hard for the Ortiz upset to ruin all the plans. Well, yeah, it's like this. If Ortiz wins, we still have to worry about. Because, see, if Ortiz wins, he has to fight Ortiz again. You know what I mean? If he wins, he has to fight Ortiz again. In essence, if he fights Ortiz again, that would be like the rubber match. So it'd be one for Deontay, one for Ortiz. Then the third fight, look, the Fury fight will be off the charts anyway. And then what I'm thinking, if that happens, if Deontay loses, he has to deal with Ortiz again, right? And because he'll want his belt back. That'll be a good thing because they can't label him a franchise champion after that because he's took a loss. So he has one draw and one loss now. Okay. Then he will be on the same level as Ortiz. Ortiz's credibility will be heightened like Ruiz's is now. But then I'm looking at it like this. Tyson Fury will then in return want to fuck with Ruiz and fight Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Ruiz fight, that's if Ruiz beats Joshua. So we got to look at that. There's a lot of different things that could happen in the sport at this point. We don't know. This is boxing. We just have to see. Right? That was a slip. So I want to know what round that was. You know what I mean? It's a shame that organizations could be blocking great fights. I don't think Loma is like Wilder because he's willing to cross the street. Haney has to wait. Why wait? I think Loma, and I said the same thing about Golovkin. So I've been looking at Golovkin's age for a while, and people didn't listen. When I was saying, fight Golovkin, someone fight Golovkin. Golovkin needs to fight these guys. When Lara was calling him out, he needed to fight Lara. They needed to make him an offer. You know who blocked that fight? His trainer. Okay? Abel Sanchez blocked the Erislandy Lara fight. And what did he say? Oh, Erislandy Lara's not, he's not a big enough draw. Oh, but the same guy that fought the guy that you guys are fucking chasing after his nuts to fight, which is Canelo, and gave Canelo one of his toughest fights. In fact, a lot of people, including myself, think Lara beat Canelo. Okay? Those body punches, damn, I guess that was enough for Canelo to win because he was the star guy. You know what I mean? He had a whole country behind him. We know the politics in boxing. That's how I chopped that up. But then that guy, Golovkin, could have went and if he would have destroyed Lara, right? Then he would have say like, this is the guy that Lara gave the most problem, and he went and stopped Lara. You know how people believe in triangle theories. That could have easily happened. Easily. Okay. So, that's why I disagree with that, GM Strong. Loma needs to fight all these guys now. I mean, he's got 14-0. He's done a lot in the sport, but then here's the thing. Before he gets too old, before he gets 33, 34, 35, no, he needs to fight those guys. He needs to fight Haney, Lopez, Tank Davis. He needs to seal his legacy. Hopefully if he can get a catch weight with Mikey Garcia, someone that's big enough to seal his legacy. He needs that, because what we're looking at it with Loma, if he doesn't fight these guys, he'll be no different from how Roy Jones was. Remember all those Roy Jones fights that he came into the room. Roy stopped shaving. Roy didn't even shave no more. Roy's like, fuck it. Y'all must have forgot. He goes in there, just beats a guy, puts on a performance. He didn't even compete. He performed. But then guess what? Who did he have to really seal his legacy at that time? Yeah, he beat a lot of those guys. Harding and Tarver the first fight. Ruiz went to heavyweight. He beat all these guys. James Toney. But you know what I mean? Bernard Hopkins gave him his second professional loss. Look, but at the end, Roy Jones Jr. had a long lull of time where it was nobody to fight. Or maybe he just made it look that way. But Loma has that. He has to fight those guys that's calling him out. Because Roy was like that. He needs to be more like Roy. Oh, you think you can beat me? Let's get it on. And that fight will be made. Roy was no nonsense. Because Roy believed and knew he was the baddest man on the motherfucking planet. And he showed it, people. That's what he did. That's how it happened. I think Loma needs to have that mentality, because with that skill and all that, Father Time will fuck us all up. And if he waits and says, oh, you have to wait, and Haney being the younger fighter, that's not going to be good for him. Fight him now. You know what I mean? Because all people can't be like Bernard Hopkins or Manny Pacquiao. They can't be that way. So no, I think that he should fight them. Charlo's brothers have a hard time with elite fighters. I don't see them beating the top three. I don't either. That's why I wasn't pissed off when Canelo didn't fight Charlo. But I'm like, I never saw Charlo giving Canelo problems. He doesn't have what it takes. Honestly, I think he's a strong puncher. I think both of those Charlos are some hellified punchers. Jamal, I think, punches harder. But they both are good boxer punchers, right? But they're better punchers than they ever will be boxers. Dominic Brazil is trash. Dominic Brazil is trash. LA 12 kind of pussy you. But look, even Brazil, though, even he made a comeback. Like, after he got defeated by Joshua, he beat everybody. He beat a lot of undefeated fighters. He had a lot of tough fights. He went down in those fights. He came back in those fights. Now, he got knocked the fuck out by Wilder, but he got hit with that punching power because he simply didn't respect it. He was too slow, but we knew he was too fucking slow. You know what I mean? So, that's what's going to happen. A faster guy, that's your height, that can punch. Fury has lost the love for boxing. He is delaying the inevitable. AJ said it best. If you think I will take a warm-up fight, we not cut from the same cloth, win or lose. AJ is right. Wow. Man, Fury, that ankle shit. I don't know, man. I just, with the money, if he's receiving $15 million, why would he even want to fight Deontay Wilder anyway? I mean, given if he believes that he beat him the first time. You know what I mean? So, and he's getting all these accolades. He's building his profile. He's making money. He's beating these guys that nobody heard of. He's still making money, right? Money hand over fist. So, I don't know. He might not even want to fight Deontay no more. Where's White B sample? Dillian White is a drug cheat, and I can't wait for him to get obliterated by Wilder. You know what? Vitola, I don't know where that fucking B sample is. This is a great question. Great question. I don't know. I don't know where it's at. But Wilder, Wilder. See, Wilder. Here's the thing about Wilder. Wilder's one of those guys that if he hits you, he has the power. If he hits you, that's that. You know. But here's the thing: will Wilder fight him? You know, I mean, I don't see what the problem is. Wilder has to get his head out of his ass, fight these matchroom guys, blow them out of the way, get rid of them. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's the problem. Why is he not allowing that to happen? PED, what's up? Morning to you, brother or sister. Right? Coupe de Ville, what's in here? What is Coupe de Ville? You know how I get there. How do you know he is a drug cheat? I don't know. You know, we be crooks are a joke. The IBO should be more credible than them. If I was white, I'd be taking them to court. I think that's what he has the lawyers for, ABS one. I think that's what he's attempting to do. Uh, well, you know, but here's the thing: he has lawyers busy on this UCAD shit. You know, so how many battles you want to take on at the same time? You know what I mean? So, White has already been exonerated by VADA. WBC is under the CBP, not UCAD. Well, look, VADA never had a problem with Dillian White, but VADA never had a problem with Dillian White samples. He passed both of those samples. It's UCAD, you know. You know, and that's the thing. You know, WBC, in order to be with their rankings, you have to take a VADA test. He passed that. This shit came from UCAD. This is UCAD shit. It all came from some fucking reporter. Somebody from UCAD leaked to a reporter that Dillian White failed a drug screen. It came back with whatever in it, right? Now they can't seem to find where the B sample is. It's bullshit. You know, I think it was sabotage. You know what I mean? Listening to other people that had similar bullshit with UCAD, it falls back on UCAD. You know, and an unfortunate Dillian White was like, he was the unfortunate bastard that got that happen. You know? Isn't he scheduled to fight the winner of Comey Lopez? People need to chill out. Haney should be patient, study Loma, then go after him later next year. Offended in every way. Yeah, that's right. He's supposed, Lopez becomes the mandatory if he beats Comey. Okay, so he's putting himself in a position to fight Loma. You know, and you're right. People do need to chill until we know what Loma is going to do. And I think Loma has enough integrity, though, honestly, to make his own mind up. I think he is the guy that he won't pull a bunch of shit because he's not a Canelo. You know, I don't think Loma can afford to do what Canelo is doing or has done because he hasn't done nearly what Canelo's done in the sport. You know, you fight all these Golovkin, Lada, Mayweather. You fight all these guys, man. You know what I mean? Now you're fighting Kovalev. No one in boxing today has the resume like Canelo, probably except Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But Loma doesn't. I don't think Loma will do that. Shout out from Kansas City, Kansas. What's up, Kong? Skull Island 2017 counterpunch to you. I got peeps up in Kansas City, Missouri, across the river. White passed the American test. His on VADA all year round, and that's who WBC works with. What with UCAD B sample got to do with anything? He passed your American test. Well, that's true. Wow, Michael Hunter might beat Povetkin. I would like to see it. I want to see what Povetkin still has left. Shout out in Cardiff, getting ready for work at 6 a.m. UK time. Damn. It's what time is it here? Well, it's 1:25 here. So I'm in the Caribbean. So gentleman's game. What elite fighter has Jamal faced? I looked at his record And at this point in his career, he hasn't faced anyone. No. Mala 2243. Matt Korobov was a good fighter. In fact, he's set to face Chris Eubank Jr. That's going to be a good fight. If Korobov still has what he had that night he fought Jamal Charlo, he's going to give Chris Eubank hell. I'm going to tell you that for shit sure. And then really a lot of people thought that, they robbed Korobov. But Korobov was a fucking replacement though, wasn't he not? It's crazy. GM Strong, thanks for going live so we can vent about this bullshit. GM, thank you for the the super chat donation. And yeah, we gotta address it. We gotta counterpunch the bullshit, bro. We have to counterpunch the bullshit. Offended in any way. Ortiz ain't winning. Come on, let's be realistic here. Look, man, it's like that's what your mind tells you because, like, okay, logically, let's look at it like this. Ortiz was almost 30. No, he was 40 then. He was 40 then, or was he 39? I think he turned. No, he was 39. He was beaten on the 3rd of March by Wilder. And then later in March, he turned 40. Let me make sure. But I think his birthday is late March. So, yep, March 29th, 1979. Good year. Great year. Yeah, so he was 39 when they fought. Damn near 40. Now he is 40. No, he's 41, right? About to be 42. Coming in March again. That's right around the corner. Been in a couple fights since then, didn't look impressive. So what are we going to think? What are we going to do? Was it because he couldn't rise to the occasion because of those fights? And then another question you ask yourself, what fights and what about these two fights that he had with Hammer and Kaufman, right? Prepared him for Wilder. Was Hammer fast, quick, tall, lean? Was Kaufman fast, quick, tall, lean? No. So logically, you going in a guy that looks older, a guy that looks like, that he's fading even more and more. He's a good fighter, a really great ring IQ and dangerous, a good counterpuncher. But then logically, who do you really think will win this fight? Offended in every way. Counterpunch to you. I'm an Ortiz fan because I think a lot of fighters avoided him early on, including Wilder. And I think that was bullshit. Oh, he's a drug cheat. I'll never fight him. You fought him. And I heard Joshua said the same thing. That's only here. I never read it. I heard it from someone that I think is a Wilder fan. He tried to counterpunch me. So we went back and forth today. And he said that Joshua said the same thing. I'm like, okay, I wasn't even talking about Joshua. So what we were talking about was what Deontay Wilder said about Ortiz, but he ended up fighting him anyway. Puncher's chance, I would laugh if it happened to the LDBC would break down. Hell yeah, they would break down. They would break down if Wilder got knocked out. Oh, they would change tunes. Everything would be about Luis Ortiz. And you know what the narrative would be? You know what? Look, mark my words. If Luis Ortiz wins, and I made a promise to Luis Ortiz. I said if he wins, I will do that particular story in Espanol. In Spanish. I will do the whole podcast in Spanish. But if he does win, he beats Deontay Wilder, knocks out Deontay Wilder, their narrative would be then, you see, that's why Joshua didn't want to face him or White turned down the fight. Mark my words. That is exactly what would happen. That is exactly what they'll be saying. You see, that's why Wilder took the best fights because he fought the most dangerous fighter in the heavyweight division. You know what I mean? That's what it will be. Blue blood. Yeah, you see, that's why, Luis Ortiz was feared for years from other fighters because look what he did to the former now WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, putting Wilder on the seat of his pants in the 8th round. He could not continue by the 10th. They gave him 30 seconds after the 9th to see if he's okay. But to no avail, he got beat pillar to post by Ortiz. And then Ortiz is the champion. That's why Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn didn't want to fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, watcher. Ortiz can do the upset. He boxes very well. He does. He just has to stay away from the right hand. Wilder doesn't have anything else. That's why he's going back to the basics, because they knew and they seen that fight. Ortiz had him and had his number until he got caught. That's what happens when you fuck around with Wilder's power, especially the right. Hell, that's the only punch he really hits you with to hurt you, honestly. Lara is just awfully boring, mate. He's just a pure boxer. He's a guy that he won't give you much. He's not going to exchange. He's not going to throw a bunch of punches. He's not going to do that. A lot of fighters, a lot of people don't like that. Me personally, I like a guy that can just box. You know, a great exhibition style fighter, boxes from the inside. You know what I mean? Sure, I would love to see him do more. I would love to see Lara trained by the Mayweathers to see what he can do to, implement the shoulder roll, similar like to Zab Judah, but that has a better ring IQ and distance with those long fucking arms, But no, he's not a guy that you want to, I want to see that fight. No. If you want to see boxing skill, yeah. You want to, because he's going to give you a chess match, because that's what you're dealing with, messing with a pure boxer. Have you seen the new pictures of Luis Ortiz? I thought he was fat too. But yesterday in the pictures, I think he looks like a beast. Much respect for Wilder. King Kong, even at 40, is very dangerous. I hope so. Ramon Alberto, I hope. I've seen that. He does look bigger. He did look kind of big and chunky, maybe because the hair, because, he has a lot of hair now. So maybe that kind of gave you a perception that he was bigger or whatnot. Again, we didn't see what, his build and physique looked like. But, in those press conferences, when they announced the fight, he looked chunky, looked chubby, Efe Ajaba's fight is not happening this weekend, pulled out due to injury. Plus, he just had a kid. I think that's a good thing. If you're not ready, don't jump into the ring. You know what I mean? Because that's a beast, and we wouldn't want to see him get upset by somebody that he's not really ready for. Can't wait for the fight, brother. I'm looking forward to the fight. I'm looking forward to the fight. I feel that nobody asked for it, but they owed Ortiz. They owed that man. Let's run that shit back. Giving Wilder time and shit. What is that? I mean, what is that really? What was that? Formerly Triple H 1200. Ortiz is getting slept. PBC didn't block his $7 million AJ payday for nothing. Oh man. But it's all about perception, though. Triple H 1200 is all about perception. See, all you really have to do is give the perception that this guy is the baddest man. But will we ever know that? Who the hell did he fight and fight? But then that's it. If you can never get him in the ring with other fighters, you could always say those other fighters are ducking him, right? You know what I mean? This just occurred to me. What could Ortiz pick up and possibly adapt from Fury when he fought Wilder? Could Ortiz mimic what Fury did to an extent? No. Offended in every way? No. I'm going to tell you why. He's not taller. He's not bigger. He has a long reach. He does have that. I think he has a 80-inch reach, I believe. Ortiz does. Coming from a southpaw, he doesn't move like Fury. If anything he can emulate from Fury are the jerks, the feints. You know what I mean? If he emulates that, I think that'll give Deontay Wilder something more to think about. But someone like Ortiz, being grounded in his style, being set in his ways, I doubt he would want to emulate anything from another fighter, because he's already knew how to, perfect his style, because he's so set again with his own style. I don't see him picking up new shit. You know what I mean? Honestly. So really nothing except really the feints. I think the feints could help Wilder. Because see, Wilder reacts off feints because he'll be looking for Ortiz to come in. I think the belts get stripped from AJ when he wins undisputed is off the table for a fact. Well, that could be a possibility. He'll still be unified. He just won't be, he'll just have less belts. You know what I mean? What happened to Dominic Brazil? I don't know. Shit is, I don't know. He's probably still knocked out. I have no idea. Ortiz needs a KO in the early rounds. He's 40. Hey, better sooner than later. But here's the problem. If Ortiz tried, I doubt that'll happen because if you look what happened in the seventh round, Ortiz punched himself out, right? You know, if he can get Deontay out of there early, that would be good. But then if he does hurt Deontay, and Deontay, he'll be in there probably with some of the same refereeing tactics that they had in the first fight. So if that's the case, he won't be able to do what he did in the seventh round, But yeah, I mean, I think it would have to be one of them situations like Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, 4. He would just have to knock out Deontay Wilder, put his ass to sleep. Like Sergio Martinez knocked out Paul the Punisher Williams. Put his ass to sleep. Because either all those fights, people, were going to be in favor of the favorite fighter. I'm sorry. Manny Pacquiao was going to beat Juan Manuel Marquez, and that was a good fight coming in. Paul Walker already decisioned Sergio Martinez, right? Until Sergio came in the second fight and knocked his ass out. Ortiz has to knock out Deontay Wilder. Catch him with one of them fucking lefts that Wilder don't fucking see and put his ass out of commission. That's the only way he's going to win. I'm sorry. That is the only way. He gets battered pillar to post. They're going to find a way to give his ass more time. The doctor's going to rush in there. You okay, Deontay? Shelly Finkel will come. Deontay, are you okay? Yeah, man. It's not, no. The dude's 70. He's a good-looking 70. Kurt Loma is ducking Devin Haney. We'll see. We have to see H Money. We have to see. Devin Haney's the next Mayweather. We have to see H Money. We have to see. Haney is not going to fight Loma before the other Richard and Telefimo. So he has to wait. Telefimo, huh? Okay. Thought he was dead. It was all an act. Fury didn't hurt his ankle. You know what, man? I'm starting to think that. Those pictures were too. You know what I mean? That looks like an act. But it is what it is. Brazil is still in airplane mode. Look, yeah, man, Brazil was like, fuck, he got knocked out. He's probably still watching that shit. I don't want to watch that again. Turn that shit off. Daddy, is that you? Yeah, turn that shit off. Go to bed. To this day. Oh, man. Oh, then he can't. If Loma is franchised, then he can't fight for undisputed. That belt is not the belt for undisputed. Haney has the belt now. Well, if he beats Haney, he can get that belt. And even if he beats Haney, it won't matter because he'll be still regarded as that undisputed guy, just with that special trinket. Kurt, I exposed Errol Spence for being an alcoholic. Ortiz needs to be bullish. He has nothing to lose. He needs to be as aggressive as possible when he get inside and go with his combinations and load up his punches and throw with real intent. Mala 2243, Mala, that's true. I think he has nothing to lose. He's got paid. His family's going to be set. Even if he loses, that's a second loss due to the same person. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think he has nothing to lose. But neither did Andy Ruiz. He had nothing to lose. You know what I mean? He just went in there. He's glad to get the fucking fight. And look what happened. Damn, he's addicted to drugs and alcohol. Did they find drugs in his system too? I've been wondering if Wilder has something wrong with him. He refused to fight anyone good for any amount of money. Everybody wants more money. That's fishy. Brittany Devine, it's all fishy. I don't care who the fuck you are being my advisor or my whatever the fuck. You're not going to talk me into not taking 100 million. So you got a point there, Brittany. Counterpunch to you. That shit was very fishy. You know? That shit smells like fish burning. You know, that's how fishy it is. You know. Good morning from the UK. Lab Tech Gamer. Counterpunch to you. Chris Serrano. Thumbs up for Kurt to support. Yep. You guys hit the like button. Let's hit that like button. Let's get him up there. Devin Haney will give Noma his second loss. Well, we have to see. Wilder is a bad man. Ortiz is old but very dangerous. The other top heavyweights won't fight him. I don't know, man. You know, but then if here's the thing: Wilder beats Ortiz again. Who would really want to fight Ortiz at that point? You know what I mean? Because the problem is people with the bullshit. Oh, he's old. He's old. He's old. So when you beat that old guy, then what? You're just a guy. You're a person or a fighter that beat an older guy. How much props will you get for that? You know? Loma's people said they wouldn't fight Crawford when Crawford was at 140. Guess what? Haney is 5'8" with 72 reach like Crawford. They said Crawford was too long. Do the math. Okay, well, we got to see. We have to see if he takes that fight. Let's hope he takes that fight. Haney, just because the mandatory weeks ago, we all know that Loma doesn't have to face him in a year's notice. Do you think Bob will have that fight before Lopez Comey? There's no telling with Bob. Shit. Bob looks like he's going to live forever. So, you know. But you know what? Speaking of Bob, Bob's talking a lot of shit lately. Have you noticed that? Bob's talked so much shit about Hearn and all this shit. That might be a diversion not to even really want that fight. You know what I mean? That may probably protect Loma for even fighting him if you claim you got a beef or you disputing the other promoter and his actions. So who knows? Let's be real, punch quote. So why is he franchised? He can't fight for the undisputed now. What part of that you missed? Loma is too good. Won't be beat anytime soon. All these kids are very talented, but Loma is in a different level. Ramon Alberto, he just needs to beat those guys now. Since he has the ability. That's what I feel. If he can do it, he needs to do it now. So there won't be no fucking excuses if he loses. You know what I mean? So if he falls to one of these young bucks, there won't be any excuses for Loma. You know? Canelo is franchised. That's why he didn't fight Andrade for undisputed. Loma can't fight Lopez Comey for undisputed because Haney has the belt now. Again, do you think Bob will have Loma Haney before Loma Comey or Lopez? I don't think so. I think they'll wait for that. I think what they'll do, they'll see what he does with Lopez. You know what? I want to see Lopez and Haney. That's what I want to see. I want to see two young fighters. You know? Ortiz was beating Wilder before he got that KO. That is crazy. Yeah, it is, bum bum. That was funny. I thought it should have said bum bump. I got a bum bump. But yeah, you're right, bum bum. That Ortiz. He was, he was only down 1 point on the scorecard. So, Kurt, hello, fight fans. This is Ronnie Fraud. Counterpunch to you, Ronnie Fraud. Kurt, you forgot to stutter like Porky Pig that Blue Blood does. I don't think Ortiz will fight Wilder again if he wins. He will go straight to undisputed with AJ to get that big payday. Ortiz not getting paid with Wilder, even if it's a Wilder Ortiz 3. I think it would be good for boxing if Wilder gets beat. You know, you know why? Because all the diva, all the egotistical pride bullshit will be eradicated. Why? Because Wilder has took his first L. Then we'll see a lot of his fans cry and how they react, the excuses, the this, the that. But then we will see what Deontay Wilder's made out of. We will see what type of person he really is. We'll see what he does. We'll see how he responds. We will see the reality of him taking a loss. You know what I mean? But honestly, nobody deserves it more than Luis Ortiz. So if he wins that and he knocks out Deontay Wilder, because I think that's the only way he can do that. You know what I mean? Because, they got too much money invested in Tyson Fury, or do they? We don't even know really what is really changed with Tyson Fury. Because what Tyson Fury does, we see he's about the moolah. He's about the money. Okay? Ortiz, according to highly credible sources, was 43 at the time he fought Wilder. Damn. Kurt, what's your take on Chisora Price? Chisora has to get on the inside, throw bombs like he always does. If Price is able to fight on the outside, he could hurt Chisora and knock him out. But if Chisora gets on the inside, he can fuck him up and knock him out. That's my take on it. That's my counterpunch. But I will give a blow by blow later on, give my fight study on it, my prediction. But that's pretty much in a nutshell. ABS 1. Do you think it's bullshit about Ortiz getting $7 million? Because in that case, what the fuck Wilder gonna be getting? Because I can't see it doing numbers on pay-per-view. ABS 1. I hope they get what they say they get. You know why? Because that fight is some bullshit, and they don't make shit off that. That means those Fox is gonna have to come out of the pocket and pay those fucking fighters. And they ain't made nothing, and that shit flops. They know this is a bad investment. In that case, it'll cripple all that bullshit picking. Showtime turned that shit down for a reason, people. Steven Espinosa confirmed it. So what happens if they have to pay those guys that amount of money? They know, we can't fuck with Wilder like that. We're going to throw Wilder's ass back on Showtime. Championship. The first fight was on championship boxing. That shit wasn't pay-per-view. Price KO within 6 rounds. I watched a Bruce Vane video yesterday, and he was saying that Lomachenko and Devin should have declined the offer. That's what I said in my fucking video. They should have declined. Look, they should have not accepted the franchise belt because they shouldn't have fell into the politics and the corruption. Because see, them going along with it means they're okay with it. That means they're tolerating it. They shouldn't have tolerated any of that. I don't want your fucking franchise belt. Devin Haney doesn't need to be a WBC. You're not stripping me based on what? To give me some trinket, some bullshit that I ain't earned. That's the integrity. That's the type of thing that these boxers should do. They initially hold all the power, people. It ain't the fucking sanctioning bodies. If the fighters don't say nothing, the sanctioning bodies will try to do whatever they need to do to make money. Because, of course, it's all about money when they do throw that franchise shit at you, because they're still expecting you to pay sanctioning fees. Does that make sense? So they figure as long as you're around, as long as you're active as a boxer, you're still going to pay those fees. That's how they get paid, right? So if they want to get paid more money, let's make another fucking title. Let's make another belt. You know? But that's my counterpunch on it, keeping it 100, MH 1986. ABS, that's why Showtime didn't want to carry the fight. Fucking right. They didn't want that. They didn't want that burden. They didn't want that gamble. They didn't want to fuck with that. You know what I mean? They look, Showtime knew, no, that we had the first fight on Showtime. Why the fuck would we have that fight on pay-per-view? Why? Why would we want that fight on pay-per-view? You know? Let Fox fuck with it. Since Wilder is such a star, let's put his ass here. Let Fox deal. They'll pick it up. You know? I get you. PBC can't afford to take a loss. No, look at all the heavyweight fighters on Matchroom. You know what I mean? No, they can't afford to take a loss like that. Everyone blames Loma, but anyone that knows boxing knows that it's the promoters to blame. I guess. If you say so. You know what I mean? Loma, it's your time. It's your opportunity to take the belt. The franchise belt belongs to you because I believe that you're the best fucking fighter in the world. You and Terrence Crawford are the best fighters. But Terrence Crawford doesn't earn anything because people don't like to watch him fight. People love you there, Loma. You gotta take the fucking franchise belt. Ortiz's only chance is to rock Wilder early with power shots. I think it's to knock his ass out. Air key. Knock his ass out. Only hope. Only way. Loves counterpunch boxing from the UK. Samuel Apia. Counterpunch to you, man. Thank you for the support. Damn, that fight's going to do more complicated. Going to be more complicated because of the NFL's broadcast. I didn't know that ABF won. Thanks. What do you think Wilder's big news was that he didn't have to fight White till 2021? I don't know. He's happy about that shit too. You know? And I think it's a territorial thing too, because Deontay has something against Hearn. He hates Hearn with a passion for whatever reason, and I feel that he wants to kind of boycott the idea of fighting any matchroom guys. I think it's more to that, and then WBC will go along with anything that Deontay Wilder will do, and vice versa, just to keep the separation real, so they don't have to segregate. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's about. They're against segregation of fighting matchroom fighters. That's why there's no Chisora, no White, no Joshua. Okay, that's why you don't see those guys. When have you seen Deontay Wilder fight a matchroom guy? There you go. In 3 years, Haney could be at 147. Haney versus Spence could be a huge fight. Spence won't be. In 3 years, Spence will not be at 147 pounds. Cleon Robinson, I doubt that. He will not be at 147 pounds. Spence is still Spence after the accident. He's the real Undertaker to get up from that crash. I hear you. He should be thankful that he got, it's not about him at all. You know what I mean? It's not about him at all with that type of crash. His shoes, and he has other big news about his yellow duck slips on. Your guess is good as mine. I just hope that it's a good news for us as boxing fans. Yeah, this big news. Whatever. We'll see what he says. We'll see exactly what he says. Who are you taking between Progress and Taylor this weekend, ABS? Okay, that's ABS. I got to do a fight study on that, on Prograis and Taylor. That's going to be a good fight. Two undefeated guys getting in there. I think Taylor's 15-0, 12 knockouts. Prograis, I don't know his record off the top of my head. That's going to be a good fight, though. I'm going for Prograis because, he's a Louisiana guy, New Orleans guy. But Josh is a fucking big junior welterweight, man. He looks like a welterweight, you know. And I'm wondering if Prograis can. He has the power, but can he deal with the size? See what he did to Ian Pitbull, right? You know, and they're both body punchers. That's going to be a good fight. Watching Gula Lara. Lara got caught because he was straight when he moves out of an exchange. Joshua Taylor does the exact same thing, but he hasn't fought a puncher like Regis gets caught. I hope so. You know, Josh pissed me off one time. He hit a guy, and the guy kind of waved and turned his back. I know you can protect yourself at all times, but if I'm going to get pissed at Floyd for hitting, for like basically sucker punching Ortiz, you know, I got to get pissed at him too, because that was some bullshit. He hit the man, and the man had turned it, you know, I mean, he went dwelling on him. I'm like, damn, dude. You know? AJ's sister went on Wilder's social media and said he's obsessed with AJ. Dude, yeah, I gotta look that up. That's pretty cool. I think he is though. Let's see. No respect for AJ. How do you get knocked out by Butterbean? Well, hey, Ramon, check this out. Butterbean himself was a hard punching fucking guy. I remember all those fights. He was fighting bums, but hey, so was Wilder. And we can all say Wilder can punch, regardless of who the fuck he's knocking out. You know? So, but then people don't know who Andy Ruiz is. Randy Ruiz is that guy. You know what I mean? I'd be obsessed with AJ too. He pays good. You know? I think it's the fame. It's everything, you know, surrounding Anthony Joshua. You know, the endorsements, you know, the fame, the reputation, his attitude, the way he carries himself. You know, if you had a hating mentality, you know, you may find yourself not liking it, especially you're in the same weight class. You know, you guys are in the same boxing circles, in the same era. You know, you got guys like Lennox Lewis hate on Anthony Joshua. This motherfucker ain't fought since what, 2004? And he hating on him. So shit. I mean, you know, if Lewis can hate on Joshua, shit, why can't Deontay Wilder hate on Joshua? He has more incentive. This guy's done this shit. Spent half the time, made 3, 4, 5, 6 times more times the money. Yeah, it's easier to hate on that motherfucker. You know? The green eyes of envy. Jim Brown, counterpunch to you. Lama wouldn't dare come up to 147. Triple X, no, he wouldn't. You know, and I question that. I'm like, damn, you know, Floyd did it. Manny did it. You could say, oh, well, Manny, you know, he was a little dude. That motherfucker was smaller. He was smaller than Loma. Okay? He's a little dude, man. Manny Pacquiao ain't no big dude. He got a big ass head. But you know what I mean? And a big punch, right? You know, but no, man. AJ, a privileged, sheltered, hype job. Facts. Well, and his resume being a privileged, sheltered, hype job is better than Deontay Wilder's to this day. And sheltered means protected, right? Well, Wilder was protected then. Wilder was protected against icons like Klitschko. That's why he doesn't have the following like Joshua. Look, if you want to see anything about a fighter, what's the biggest thing we have today? Social media, right? That's like surrounding the world. That's how things get out, news, informative things, you name it, right? So, there's a bobblehead. But if you look at Instagram. Look how many followers Deontay Wilder has. Then you go to AJ. Look how many followers that AJ has. That should tell you what you need to know already. It's like compare a watermelon to a grape as far as popularity. You know, Usyk resume better than Joshua's and Wilder's. I don't know about that. I mean, he was impressive unifying the cruiserweight division, but I don't know about the resume. I want to see what he can do in the heavyweight division. But Usyk is a bad motherfucker. I think he is one of those guys that people shouldn't sleep on. Ramon Alberto, okay, said in an interview that Joshua eats the knocks out the man that eats the tacos. Okay, all right. Music resume better than fanboy boying here is no good. Too many intelligent boxing minds here. No way in hell is Usyk's resume better than Joshua's. Dimitri 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 Cowan. What does popularity have to do with boxing records? Well, nothing. But if we look at boxing records and how the popularity of a fighter can envy another one, see, Joshua has all this. You think that Wilder don't see that? He sees that shit. He wants that shit. He told Joshua he wants that shit. You know, he wanted that in his own country. That's what Deontay Wilder's plan is. But as far as records, no. You can't come. What is Wilder's record compared to Joshua's record? It's like Deontay's playing catch up on something that he should have. There shouldn't have been. Look, there should be no comparison on what Deontay Wilder's done to what Joshua's done. Because Joshua ain't been in the game but 6 years in the professionals. What is 11, 12 for Deontay? He should have fought all the guys that Joshua fought and then some. You know, Loma's fully grown and has no business at 140, let alone 147. He is always going to be the naturally smaller fighter at 135. He is a 126 fighter, overachieving. Stop the Loma to 147, top fellas. Well, I guess, I mean, look, Floyd, Loma, Manny, even Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales. Those guys were at 140 people. That wouldn't, they could get there. He could get there. I don't see why Loma can't with the skills that he has. Honestly, I think he can. Brandon Marshall's resume is better than Deontay Wilder's already. Damn. You guys are bad. It's crazy how Pac-Man stayed at dominated 147 for years. He could have went down and stayed at 140, 35 and 140 piece. But guess what? He didn't. He didn't. That's the whole thing. He did not. He went and he challenged himself. That's why he's a legend. See, if you want something you never had, you got to do something you never done. But hey, Loma is considered one of the best pound for pound. So why would he want to go up if he's already getting franchise belts and shit? You know what I mean? I love Usyk. He's a sweet science dude. It's good to watch him actually box. It is. He puts the pizzazz on there. You know what I mean? He throws those flurries and those punches. So yeah, I like Usyk too. He's a humorous guy. He's real funny as shit. Has a good heart on him. You know what I mean? You think Tank Davis could dominate at 147? No, Tank will get beat. Tank will get beat the fuck up at 147. Tank will get beat the fuck up at 140. He might get his ass whooped at 135. We just have to know. But I think he'll be protected, and then they will carefully pick his opponents. So none of that may happen as long as you pick fights to fight. Ask Floyd. Floyd started doing that shit later in his career. That's what he's doing for his fighters to this day, including Tank. Hypothetically, if Usyk fights AJ or Wilder and as his next opponents at heavyweight, if he gets knocked out cold by either one, do you think he should retire and call it a day? No, I don't. That's just his first loss. I think it's what he does after that would define him. You don't want to be like Prince Asima Med, people. You don't want to get beat, fight again one more time, and then quit and retire. You know what I mean? That makes you think like, oh, he ran scared with his tail between his legs and never showed back just because he took a loss. That reveals who you are. That doesn't define who you are because you take a loss. Popularity is what brings in the money. Absolutely. Did you ever hear the Nate Diaz news? Yeah, he was jacked up on testosterone. The UFC cats do that. You know what I mean? Ask Tyrone Spunk and Jarrell Miller and shit like that. Those guys, even Dillian White. Those guys came from that UFC shit. From that side of the street. They do that shit over there. Dillian White said if he was to fight Usyk, he would rough him up. That's the best way to beat Usyk. Usyk can't handle the top 7 heavyweights now. He would give them a run for their money, but can't win. Samuel, we just have to see. I like these fighters saying what he can't do. So he can either prove him wrong or whatnot. Trinidad, Goodfellas, Pulp Fiction. Great question. Trinidad beats Benitez. No, he knocks him out. Knocks him out bad. I see that fight coming. Like, you ever seen Trinidad, Yuri Boy Campus? It would have been a fight like that. Because Trinidad would have seriously hurt Yuri Boy if that fight would have came. Because he started to catch Yuri Boy, and he hurt Yuri Boy at that left hook. It's fucking him off, man. Usyk's still a work in progress in the heavyweight scene. He's just got there. He just got his fucking toe wet, What do you mean? Loma way bigger than Pacquiao. All Loma needs to do is bulk up and get a new strength and conditioning trainer. There's no reason he can't campaign at 147. He must be scared because he'll be more vulnerable. I believe that piece. I don't see why he shouldn't. I believe that he should have more ability in his skills. I believe that, yes, it is more of a risk. That's what makes it more intriguing. But risk versus reward. If Loma went to 140 and did what he did at 135, who do you think would dispute from him being pound for pound the best? They would look at him in a totally different way. Damn, we thought he was good at 126, but this motherfucker's at 140 doing the same thing. And he's a smaller guy. Why do you think people like Manny Pacquiao so much? Because he was a smaller dude coming up, moving up in weight and whacking people. I don't want to hear this shit about PEDs because he never got tested positive for anything. I don't even want to hear it. The point being, and PEDs don't win you fights any fucking way. They don't. Okay, so Manny was able to do it. Why can't Loma? You know what I mean? Are we at an era of time that people don't do that no more? Is Manny and Floyd the only motherfuckers, and Roy and these guys that move up in weight? Are these the only guys that can do this or can do that back in the day? Or is that what we're looking for? Guys that are afraid to? Are we looking at fucking Golovkins for the rest of the boxing landscape? Because Golovkin act like he couldn't do anything but stay at 160. He couldn't get those fucking fights at 160. He should have moved up to 168. There shouldn't have been no fucking Canelo Golovkin because Golovkin should have been tired of looking for these guys, and these guys were running, and they were ducking him, and they were avoiding his fights. But Andre Ward wouldn't. He should have fought Andre Ward if he wanted to test himself, if he wanted to prove that he was the best, not just stay at 160 and say, hey, nobody wants to fight me. Then you fucking get old. Then they fight you. Then they beat you. Fuck that. He should have done that. Loma can do that. Floyd did that. Manny did that. Roy did that. Bernard Hopkins did that. These fighters that were the best did that. Hall of Famers did that. Loma can do that. Now, Loma may not want to do that because I don't think he has the ability, or he doesn't have, he's not confident in his ability they can fight in that weight class. That already makes him limited. That's my counterpunch on that. Johnny Blaze, salute to you, brother. Johnny Blaze 33. Dream fight for the heavyweight Cuban, Junior Dorticos versus Wilder. What do you think about that fight? I think both guys, Dorticos definitely has the better boxing ability, power, Wilder, but skill, Dorticos. But Dorticos has a one-punch type of punch also, because he can hurt you. He has that Adonis Stevenson shit going. So he can knock you out too, you know? I'm tired, quite pissed at the WBC. A lot of us are. You criticize Floyd a lot, but you never talk bad about his boxing skills, technique. Why is that? Goodfellas, Pulp Fiction. Why am I gonna? Why would I criticize Floyd Mayweather's perfection? People think I blast Floyd. I blast Floyd for certain reasons, but his skill is not one of them. You know, if I'm gonna fuck with his skill, that makes me just a fucking Floyd hater. I'm just not a Floyd hater. I just wanted more out of Floyd. I think Floyd should have fought those top guys and then got out of the sport. You see what Manny's doing right now? He's fighting Thurman. Now he talks about him fighting Danny Garcia. You know, he beat Adrian Broner. You know what I mean? He stopped Matisse. He's done all these things on this side of the street, on the PBC side, right? Okay. Floyd didn't do that. Floyd avoided those type fights. That's why I criticize Floyd. And I didn't give Keith Thurman a chance. Here's my thing. I think Keith Thurman, especially that, you better not duck me, son. That Keith Thurman, that hungry motherfucker, that Bone Thugs motherfucker wanted to get in Floyd's shit. Floyd knew it, and he took the easy way out by fighting Berto with already 3 losses. Maybe even 4 at that point. You know? Why would you end your career fighting one of those motherfuckers when you're supposed to be the TBE? And you got all that skill set, all that talent. You know what I mean? That's no different from Loma not wanting to go up and prove himself to be the best in other weight classes. That's why I'm disappointed in Floyd. So no, I don't criticize his skills. I can't. If I would, I'd be a hater and a liar. I can't. Dude is fucking awesome. He perfected his craft. He perfected his style. When his hands got brittle, he learned and he found another way to win a fight. Those are facts, people. People called him boring, but he still learned how to win round by round. That was Floyd Money Mayweather. Pretty Boy Floyd, flawless. Can't say anything about Pretty Boy Floyd. He wanted those fights that people wanted. They didn't even want to see Barrera, Morales, Prince Asim Ahmed, those fucking guys, and even in the ring with him. Okay? And when he came back to the sport in 2009, they criticized him for fighting Juan Manuel Marquez. Why are you fighting two weight classes? You know what I mean? Which, those are the kind of guys that when he was smaller, he wanted to fight and couldn't even fight him. So I'm not knocking his skills and his technique. They were fucking perfect. I can't knock perfection. You didn't say, oh, Floyd didn't have a chin. Shit, ask Sugar Shane that knocked the hell out of him. Think about it. Antonio Margarito couldn't take Sugar Shane Mosley's punch, but Floyd could. Right? Think about that, man. You got to think about it. So, no, I'm not knocking him because of that. Everybody's been saying Pacquiao's been done since Marquez knockout. 7 years later, he's taken undefeated Keith Thurman's belts. True greatness. Fuck 12. Great counterpunch. Because everybody thought, I thought he was dead. December 8th, 2012. I thought he was dead. I thought he killed his ass. You know? It was a high stakes fight. I remember where I was at, who I was with, the whole 9 yards. I wasn't even feeling good that fucking day. I couldn't even drink. I was just like, shit, I'm just gonna watch this shit with a bottle of water. You know, I probably went too hard the day before or something like that. But that fight was hell, and that fight was surprisingly difficult. You know, and when he went down, I thought Manny was done. I thought Manny was done. You know what I'm saying? Suleiman, Dillian White, 600 days turning into 1,600 days. You damn right. They gave him a new sentence for some shit that he didn't even, he's not even tested guilty on. You know what I mean? Usyk is methodical in his fights. He adjusts quickly. He is. Jim Brown, he thinks in there. Those guys be thinking. You know, that's I'm surprised that Benavidez, uh, uh, Benavidez beat what's it call it like that. You know, Vosnik, because Vosnik, you know, he's the guy that damn near killed Superman Stevenson. You know, there's nothing bad to say about Floyd's skills. He's mastered his skill set. Cleon Robinson, he has. He's mastered his skills. Everything he's done, it was perfect. D11 5X. What's up, Kurt? Will you be going to Saudi Arabia for the Ruiz Joshua 2 fight? No, I won't. I'm not going. You know, because I checked into it, the visas, they want to add $100 onto the visa. And my understanding was that the visa would be included in the ticket. So when you buy the ticket, you buy the visa. But now the visa is an additional. But then they were like, okay, we don't have anything to do with the government. But then yet you said that it included that. So when you buy the ticket, you get the visa by default. You know what I mean? No. But I will be covering it live. I will be covering it live from my house. Okay, HD, the zone. I will be there. I will cover the undercards. I will cover the main event. I will be there live, and I want everybody to participate because I will be there going for blow, commentating every single thing that happens in that fight. I will do that. I will be there. Hagler stayed at 160. Hopkins stayed at 160 until he lost his belt. Stop condemning fighters for not moving up in weight. Yuck Pushkin. Look, at least he did do that. If he would have stayed at 160, he wouldn't have sealed his legacy, even though he already did enough at 160. Okay. But what did he do? He went to 168 and he went to 175. Okay. At least he tried. And he did, and he had a lot of success, which made him great, which made him greater. Right. I'm not, like with Golovkin had a career unlike Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins got those tough fights. He fought the Jermaine Taylors, the Pavliks. He fought those guys. Golovkin couldn't fight those guys. Those guys didn't even want to fight him. They're all chicken shit. You had Chris Eubank Jr., Billy Joe Saunders. You had, who did you have back then? You had Peter Quillen. And all these motherfuckers were undefeated, mind you, except for Chris Eubank, and then that fight kind of fell through some weird ass way, But anyway. Hold up, Manny needed the money. Floyd didn't. He needed the money for what? Are you talking about before they fought with the shit about America? No, he didn't need the money. He just knew he owed the American government. What's the American government going to do? Go to fucking Philippines and confiscate him? I doubt that. That's why he was still fighting. Where was he fighting at? He was fighting in Macau. Why? Because America could not fuck with the money that he was making. And they gave him $20 million to fight, who was it, Brandon Rios? Yeah. Bro, thank you for sharing your boxing knowledge with us. Always watch all your videos. Dale. Ramon Alberto, counterpunch to you and have a good night. Floyd only came back in 2009 because he was jealous. Pacquiao's star power and was blowing through the roof. Floyd was jealous. Everyone was calling him pound for pound. Floyd was always hated, and Manny was loved. That is true. But see what happened, Free Max B. Floyd wanted that. He created something that it made him a lot of money. But in return, he got a lot of flack. He got a lot of hate. It was the yin and the yang, you know. So I think Floyd actually. Um, I know Floyd envied. I don't know about the reason he came back into the sport. I think that he he envied the idea of Manny Pacquiao getting the Fighter of the Decade award. If you guys remember that, that's a high achievement. You know who got the Fighter of the Decade in the '90s? Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. obtained that honor. Okay, if you kick and you're the fighter of the fucking decade, that you're fighter for 10 years, man. And Manny got that. And Floyd was like, why the fuck did I get that? You know? And then of course he thought he was still the creme de la creme or whatnot. And people were, people had moved on and people did not need Floyd. They didn't. And because Floyd is, again, his hands were getting more brittle. His hands, were deteriorating. So he wasn't giving you those Arturo Gotti knockouts. You know what I mean? Those beat downs, those Diego Corrales beat downs. Okay, he wasn't giving you that. You know, so he was giving you more of a technical style fighter because he had to adapt due to his hands. But people fell in love with the fucking 8 punch combinations from Manny Pacquiao. People fell in love with that shit. You know, the Rock'em Sock'em style. You know, I am from the future. It has been 45 years, and Dillian White has still not been given his world title shot. It has now been 16,000 days. Damn, Suleiman, that's bad. Who wins the World Series? The bathroom may be a different story. Okay, if he beats Karabov, Jamel's card, he gets a shot at Jamal in 2020. It would be an entertaining press conference, but you ain't get stopped by Charlo. I would like to see it, nonetheless. I'd like to see you banking a shit in a fight with somebody that we know. Karabov, don't get me wrong. If he gets past Karabov. Agreed. Martinez, Cotto, Canelo, Jacobs, Sterling also ducked a prime Triple G. Only willing former champ was Andy Lee. That fought got canceled. The untimely sudden death of Golovkin's father. Yeah, you know what though, man? If you guys, I know you guys have probably followed me, since I started YouTube or the last year or so, but Counterpunch Boxing News been around a long time. I had which I still have, Counterpunch Boxing News Facebook page, and I did videos on there. So I did many videos, maybe hundreds on YouTube. I did them daily, like I do on. I did them daily on Facebook, like I do on YouTube. And a lot of people used to hate on Golovkin, especially members of like the LDDC and stuff like that, because they were like, "Oh, he ain't fought nobody, this, that, and the other," and I would defend Golovkin a lot because Golovkin, if you follow his career, he was with Universum. Universum was a piece of shit, low budgeted, no promoting ass promotional company that shitted on Golovkin. Okay. Um, he didn't get the Felix Stern fights, the Dmitry Pitrog fight, because these fights were from fighters that he could have fought. These guys were in Germany, Russia. That's where he was, right? He couldn't get those fights. Fucking, it was Dmitry Pitrog, he fucked his back up. Like, he did something. I don't know what to this day he did, but he fucked it up. He couldn't get the Felix Stern fight. His promotional company wasn't there. Felix Stern, Dmitry Pitrog was a fight that would have been a very good fight. You know what I mean? Because Pitrog was no slouch. He was the first one that beat Danny Jacobs when Danny Jacobs was, up and coming. And but Golovkin, he had a lot of situations like that. The Andy Lee fight with his dad passing. So and all those other guys were ducking him. So I mean, he was not promoted well early on, and then by the time he came over here, he started knocking people out. He didn't have the fan base. He was kind of like the people's champ. He created this type of reputation for knocking people out, taking hard punches, and still keep moving forward. Never been dropped. Tough as nails. People question, shit, was he even a human? You know what I'm saying? So, like, but at the same time, it's, I don't know. Now he's getting these opportunities, and it seems like the old Golovkin would have taken this with no problem. Yeah, drama show. Good boy. Ah, no, Max. No, guys. Ah. How do you feel about the whole Clarissa Shields situation? You know what? I haven't really read on her. You're talking about where her sister punched the trainer and shit like that. Is that what we're talking about? Um, there's a bunch of bullshit, really. With Clarissa. I think I don't know, man. She's becoming one of those annoying ass people in the sport to me. If that's what we're talking about. It is about time we get one government boxing organization regulation above them all to enforce the top fights to happen. Where does Wilder stand if he retires undefeated without fighting the big boys? Well, dude, that honestly be less to talk about in the heavyweight division since he's retiring. We'll see him. I might see him faster than anyone else because his thing is acting, right? So he'll more or less be in a film if it's in New Orleans or Atlanta or anywhere in the East Coast or something like that. Um, I'll probably see him anybody because he's gonna go right to acting. But no, I mean, if he retires, I mean, it would be short lived. You know, long resume, not enough real true opponents on that resume, shit like that. How bad did people want to see Floyd lose? Goodfellas, Pulp Fiction, batters their right nut. What I mean? They wanted that man to lose so bad. Skip Bayless. Oh, Floyd. Floyd is scared. Like, damn, dude, get over it. Pacquiao is the most robbed boxer in history. It's sad. Okay, yeah, Clarissa Shields. I don't know. That shit there was bad. It was really bad too. Um, it was bad to for that situation. Saying, "Oh, I didn't have nothing to do with it." I don't know. I think she said what she's supposed to say. Honestly, I think that Clarissa, she comes with like a lot of loud, brash talk, being a female and shit like that. And she really reminds me of like a more obnoxious Ronda Rousey. Remember when Ronda was talking all that big shit out, fight Floyd and this and that and the other? You know, she's a big girl though. But I mean, just because you possess certain things, you should still act like a lady, man. Come on, you're still a woman at the end of the day. You know, what do you think about Floyd wanting to fight? Thinking about wanting to fight in an exhibition. Technically, Floyd's the one that wants to fight Manny because he even posted it on it. Look, splurge on your hoe. Let me counterpunch you first. I think Floyd knows that he needs Manny, and Manny just wants the idea of beating Floyd. He wants to be that guy. He felt he was always that guy to beat Floyd. A lot of people did, but I think Floyd should hang it up. I think Floyd is a guy that he wants the attention, and I don't know why. I guess he's so used to it. I think it becomes an addiction. Attention does to certain people, and I think Floyd really wants to stay relevant. He can't stand the idea of somebody else shining and shit like that. That's Floyd. Floyd don't like the idea of anybody being over him, anybody being talked about more than him, any of that shit. He doesn't like it. So Floyd has to, you know what? My shit's dropping. It's about me. I'm the cash cow. I'm the creme de la creme. I'm the TBE hashtag money team hashtag TMT and all that shit. He doesn't want that to die. So the best thing he could do is, hey, let me paint the idea of me fighting Floyd. I mean Manny, you know. So that's why he's doing it. I feel. What do you think happens to Manny's legacy if he beats Floyd Mayweather in all-time ranks? At this point, not really, because see, Manny has already done enough, you know. But what that would do, it would seal the deal. Suleiman, it would seal them two together forever. You can't say Floyd without saying Manny, right? You can't even talk about Floyd. Floyd would hate it, you know, but and the people would defend Floyd. Oh, he's past his prime. Shit, so is Manny. You know, and you know what it'll mean? It'll be one of those situations like another Roy Jones Jr. and Bernard Hopkins. Roy was like the better prodigy, more athletic, and he could beat Bernard at a certain time. But then the fighter that has more preserves, it was Bernard Hopkins, and Bernard Hopkins showed him, hey, I'm older than you, but get this, I'm better than you because I can outlast you because I have more preserves. So I can do more at a later age than you can at a later age. So if Manny's able to do that, yes, is Manny more skillful than Floyd? No. Is his reflexes as quick? No. Is Manny faster in combinations? Yes. However, if he's able to put and apply those combinations to Floyd and can win it, get a decision victory from Floyd, what that'll mean is Manny is better later on in his career, whereas Floyd started to deteriorate, just like Roy did. You know what I mean? But then you ask yourself a question: who's better, Roy or Bernard? What would people Floyd? We'll say the same thing for Floyd. So that's what I feel about that. You know, attention makes Floyd feel good because he's not loved. He envies Manny because Manny is loved by the people and it's the people's champ. His kids probably don't even love him. All he cares about is his watches. Well, Floyd, I hope he's living a good life with all that money he should, and I hope that's not true. You know what I mean? Um, but I feel that Floyd, he wants that attention, But again, you can be addicted to that. Is Floyd waiting for Canelo to get old so he can give him a rematch? No, no, he's not. No, he doesn't want any of Canelo. That's because see, Canelo knows how to handle a boxer, especially like that. You know, I wouldn't want to see that fight because the odds are against Floyd at this point. Because Canelo, first of all, the fucker's too big. He's just too big now. I'm gonna do a video on him tomorrow about that. But no, absolutely not. Floyd ain't waiting for shit. Floyd knows the money don't lay with Canelo. The money lies with Manny. He knows his spar. He knows his dancing partner. He might not want to admit that anyone's better than him or whatnot. That's what pride will do to you. But he knows at the end of the day, all bullshit aside, Manny Pacquiao is the guy that he needs to make the type of money that he wants. You know what I mean? Life is good, Ronnie. Life is good. I'm just enjoying a little vacay, just chilling out, hanging out in the Caribbean, and go back to work Sunday. Return to DC Monday, working on a new show. So everything's good. Life's good. You know. So all work, no play, no fun. So I'm playing right now, but I got to go back to work eventually. Should AJ attack the body of Ruiz more than the rematch? He's soft in that area. Could be a Hopkins versus De La Hoya result. I don't know. I'll say this though. It worked for Parker. If you look at Parker Ruiz, Parker attacked Ruiz's body. So he kept Ruiz at bay to a certain extent. Ruiz threw some good combinations, but Parker attacked the body. Ruiz is waiting for the entire heavyweight division to get old so he can get. Well, if that's the case, Sully, we got to look at it like this. If that's the case, that means he can fight better than those guys when they get to his age or get older, right? So he can pull a Bernard Hopkins on him. But back to Loma. We have to see to conclude this live stream. We have to see what Loma is going to do. You know, so we can't throw him to the wolves yet. We have to see what he's going to do, even though given this great honor by the WBC. We have to see if he still has the desire to fight the best. Nothing more, nothing less. You guys, it's been fun. You know, it's been a great live chat. Suleiman, Cleon Robinson, Ronnie Fraud, Goodfellas Pulp Fiction, Splurge on Your Hoe, GM Strong. All you guys have been counterpunched, and I shall return as time permits. Peace.